Yeah, good morning, sir. Good morning,
Yeah,
everyone. Good morning for good morning all the participants. It's a pleasure to see you all again through this webinar. First of all, I like to thank respected resource persons of today's session, Mr. Rahul Kumar Garg, sir, a reputed educationalist who joined among us to teach about the testing carried out in textile field. And I thank my beloved colleagues, students, and participants for your presence. Quality is what we expected from the products we buy. We or dress fashionably, select them based on our personal interest. But behind it reaches to the shop, many of them don't know that it is should pass all the quality test that from the selection of fibers till it reaches to the customer. So these tests are done for the safety, protection, and for the customers as a precautionary step. Where for testing textile products, we use more textile testing equipments, techniques, procedures, and we should follow certain standards framed by different organizations. And our resource person will explain you all those things in the upcoming 2 days upcoming 2 days. Before that, now let's see about the resource person with whom we are going to be with us for the next 2 days.
Today, we are going to have the most experienced person in the textile industry, Mr. Rahul Kumar Garg. Mr. Rahul Kumar Garg, a textile industry professional, started his career after finishing his BTech in textile chemistry. He has vast textile industrial experience for over 35 years, out of which 21 years in the production and 14 and a half years in testing at SGC Group, a Swiss MNC, as regional lab manager of North, and was looking after the complete lab activities like testing of textile and leather of footwear products for both physical and chemical testing. He is well versed in testing protocols of textile and apparel as per global methods and requirements. In initial stage of his career, he worked as process control and computer-aided sheet matching at Grasim and Modi Threads Limited, with competences in handling daily production targets, production reporting, ensuring proper color matching, overall quality control, and troubleshooting. He is qualified as technical assessor for Skill India projects under Ministry of Textile and Port Boards as evaluator for MSME sector, Government of India. Nominated as a member of Management Committee, TAI Delhi. Head of Industry as Academia Relation of Textile Association of India, Delhi unit, and arranging mill visits and expert lectures on various topics in and around NCR in textile and fashion institutes. He now focused his life for the betterment of students as a visiting faculty for various institutions, sharing knowledge on various topics in areas like technical, which are quality and process-based management, which are entrepreneurship, corporate culture, retail management, etc., and other topics of student interests like learn management, just in time, ISO certification, project management, etc. His recent topics on innovative and emerging trends like smart textile, technical textile, circular economy, sustainable fashion, textile conversation, 3D printing, etc. were benefited for many students. Meanwhile, he is also providing his service to Polyspin Filtration Private Limited and to Smart Color Solution as business associate to increase their sales in the North region. This session alone is not enough to tell about his achievement. So with this note, I hand over the session to Mr. Rahul sir. Sir, I request you to take over the session from us.
okay. So good morning, everyone. Thanks a lot, Satya, for arranging these webinars for 2 days. And in 2 days, we will be, covering the basic concepts about the textile testing and how this textile testing basically helps in order to control the quality of apparels. With respect to the international protocols, we will be discussing something about some color fastness tests and some basic international regulations also, which is a mandatory test requirement for all kind of products. So we will be taking these two topics in 2 days. Apart from this, first of all, let me just thank Satya and the AJK College of Arts and Science for inviting me for these 2 days. Thanks again to the entire team, giving my profile to the students, sharing my profile with the students, and telling me, telling good words about me. Yes, I was in the industry for 35 years, and this is now again a passion for me to share my knowledge, whatever I have learned in the industry for 35 years, with the students. That is the reason I am mainly focusing as a guest faculty to the many textile and fashion institutes. So let's begin the topic for today. But before starting, I would say, I want to make this session an interactive one so that, the students get the best out of it, and they will also, get involved with the PPT for entire 2 days. That is 1 hour today and 1 hour tomorrow. So I will be putting some basic questions to you people. Answer me those questions in the chat box so that I get motivated and tell you more about those things from my side. So let's begin this, and let me just share my screen. Can everyone see my screen? Satya,
Yeah,
is
sir,
that
it's
visible?
Yeah, it's visible, sir. It's visible.
Okay. So the topic of the 2 day seminar will be the quality control in apparels through the textile testing. So the first question to the audience is, do you buy your clothes for yourself? Answer me. Answer your replies in chat box. Whether you buy your clothes for yourself. A simple basic question. You just have to reply yes or no, whether you are buying the clothes for yourself or no. Simple, yes and no. Answers, please. Okay. But I am not able to see the answers. Yeah. Okay, so some of the people are saying yes, they are buying the clothes for themselves. Now, my next question will be, whenever you buy these clothes for yourself, what are the two basic things that you consider when you go for shopping? Can you answer me this question? What are the two basic things that you look for, in the label or in the garment when you go for the shopping purpose? The important is the color and the quality. Aishwarya has replied yes. What else? What else apart from this quality, color, design? What else? What else other than these? Design, comfort, quality. Yes, quality basically covers all these things. Whatever you people are saying, comfort. Yes, yes. There is one answer from one person who said price. Yes. So whenever we go for shopping, these are the two things that we look for it. First, the quality. And when we talk about the quality, we consider about the durability aspects, we consider about the performance of the product, and also whether that product is safe to use. So quality basically covers all these factors. And for that reason, we basically look for the immediate look in the garment is the quality aspects. The second is the price, because price is the deciding factor whether we have to go for the purchase of that product or not. Now, since when we buy the products, we basically look for these two things, quality and price. The reason being, because if we are going to buy, for example, a ladies top, right? So ladies top is available in 100 rupees also, and a ladies top is available in 500 rupees also. But when you are going to buy a product which is worth rupees 500 against a product which is about 100 rupees, if you are spending a higher amount of money in order to purchase your product, your expectations with respect to the quality from that product increases. Is that so? Yes, I think everybody will agree to me what I'm saying. So as a customer, whatever money we spend on the purchase, we want the value for that money back. For that reason, we look for quality aspects, right? Now, how do we ensure the quality of the product with respect to the price? And whenever probably there are some questions that I have listed out in this slide. Have you ever had a favorite shirt color bleeding problem, color fading problem, the shrinkage problem, or the extension problems? Sometimes we see that the product gets tearing so fast, and sometimes it is also not safe to use. So these are very important critical observations that we observe when we purchase a product and start using it. Now, in order to get the value of our money, whatever we have spent on the purchase of that, how do we control the quality? And that quality control is only possible by textile testing, or you can say it is only possible by testing. Since we are talking about the textiles, I will be using more this term as textile testing. Now, moving on to the next slide. Now, since everybody of us has an expectation, a good expectation from the product to have good quality, then as an apparel manufacturer, the responsibility of that apparel manufacturer becomes that he provides us a good quality product. And for that reason, he has to start manufacturing that product, starting from the raw material, taking control of process control, and then he has to assess the quality at every stage of the production in order to provide a consumer a good quality product or good quality apparel. But how do he do it? This is all possible only by testing. So I mean to say, if I have to summarize whatever I have said till now, whenever we go for the purchase of any product, the deciding factors is the quality and the price. Price and the quality, they both are directly proportional. If we spend a higher amount, the expectation from that product increases, because as a consumer, we all want the value for our money. For that reason, we have to control the quality of our products. And in order to produce a good apparel or the good quality of product, the apparel manufacturer or the manufacturer of that product, he has to select the right kind of raw material, and he has to control all the processes during the manufacturing stage, and then periodically he has to assess the production stages also, and all this is only possible by testing. So this is all I have discussed till now. So now the next thing is, how do we define the testing? Now, whenever we have to define a testing, we use this term, the application of engineering knowledge and science for the analysis and evaluation of a material or product to assess its characteristics, performance, and quality. Means whatever engineering knowledge and science we know, we apply that knowledge in order to analyze and evaluate the performance of the product of the product. And in other words, we can say the testing is one-stop solution to assess the performance of the product in actual wear condition. This is again a very important term. Actual wear condition means how that material or that product is going to behave when we use that product in our daily conditions. We have to do the testing as per that requirement, that how that material is going to be used in daily wear conditions. Now we have to do the testing, and then we have to select the right kind of testing parameters or the testing protocols. Now to select the right kind of the test, we have to consider certain factors, and the first important factor is the end use. End use means, for example, there is a shirt which is going to be made out of that product. Now when we wear the shirt, normally the shirt is going to be washed it is going to be dried, it is also going to be ironed, it is also going to be, sometimes it is also going to be bleached. And also, when we wear those shirts, we get the perspiration from the human body, and particularly in the areas of the armpits, we get the higher amount of perspiration. And if you have observed, particularly in the case of armpits, many times because of the perspiration, you see there is some color change with respect to the original shade, and there is a chance that your inner garments might have stained also because of the color which is being transferred from the original garment to the inner garments. So the first factor to select the test will be end use. Now, in case of the shirt, what the example I have given, we will select the color fastness to washing, color fastness to light, color fastness to perspiration. So these all will be the important tests we have to follow. Let us take one example of towel. Now, in the case of towel, what is the main basic requirement of the towel? Can you give me the answers in the chat box? If that material is your towel, bathing towel, then what is the main requirement of that? Can you quickly answer me? Because we have to cover almost 25 slides in this session. So I request the audience to kindly revert back as quick as possible. Any answers? The important properties that a towel should have, that a towel should possess. Any answers? Absorbency, absolutely perfect. The wicking also and the absorbency, these are the correct answers. So in the case of towel, washing, light, these are all color fastness tests we have to follow. And apart from that, we again have to do the water absorbency test, particularly for the towel. Whereas in the case of shirt, water absorbency was not a mandatory test. So this is how basically we have to select the test parameters which are required to be done in the product according to the end use. Then second important point is with respect to the market segment. Market segment means if we have to cater that product to a very elite segment, or the segment or the consumers which are basically ready to spend a higher amount of money, the number of tests performed on the garment will increase. Means we have to ensure that the product is compliant as per the requirement of the clients with respect to every agency, with respect to durability, performance, safety, everything. So the cost of the product will increase because the testing requirements are increasing. So the second factor is the market segment. Now third is the country of destination. Now country of destination is, for example, this is a export shipment and it has to go to different countries. Now, as you know, the US basically follows different regulations, different test methods. Europe, they have different kind of protocols. Japanese market, they also have a different protocols. So I mean to say that all countries have different testing protocols as well as different regulations. So the testing parameters, the selection of the testing parameters will depend on the country of destination as well. Then the client requirements. There are many brands, international brands. If I give you some examples: Adidas, Mark and Spencer's, Next, Target, Gap. These are all basic, very big brands which are present in the international market, and they have their own specific testing parameter protocols. Means they do not follow the international test methods. However, they have their specific testing protocols requirements which are required to be performed on the products as per their testing manuals. So the selection of the test will depend on the client requirements as well. And then finally the cost and price, which more or less is being covered in the market segment. If again I repeat that if it is to be catered to a higher segment, in that case the price will be more, and in that case we have to make our product more compliant to the requirements so that we fulfill the expectations of the customer. Now a small quiz. So everybody please come on the chat box immediately. Now, the first question to the audience is, what a customer demand from the product? Simple, basic question. I already have taken it up. Now reply me back. What a customer demand from the product, or the customer expectations from the product? Quickly answer, please. Quality, absolutely. The quality is the right answer. Now the second question, why do you need to select the right raw material? Why you need to select the right raw material? Basically to maintain the quality. Absolutely correct. Durability means again a type of quality factor. Then third is, how do you ascertain the quality of any apparel? How do we ensure the quality of this? By what means we can ensure that the quality of the material is good or bad? Testing, absolutely perfect. Mithili is the first one to answer this. Yes, testing. By means of testing, we can ascertain the quality of any apparel. Now coming on to the definition of the testing. Testing is the use of what kind of knowledge to ascertain the characteristics and fill in the blanks of the product. So two things you have to give me. Scientific knowledge or the engineering knowledge, and the second term is performance, characteristics and the performance of the product. So I again define the term testing. Testing is the use of engineering knowledge or the scientific knowledge to ascertain the characteristics and the performance of the product in the actual wear condition. Then the last question, why do you need to know the end use of the fabric? Why we should know the end use? Why we should know the end use of the fabric? Why it is important? End use of the fabric or the apparel product to get the desired product? No. Serviceability? No. Product? No. No. Deepika Verma, absolutely no. Garment finish? No. For selection of test parameters. You remember that last slide that we have discussed, and the first point was that the end use of the fabric is basically important to be known to a person who has to select the testing parameters. Then only we will be able to select the right testing parameters. For example, let me give you one more example to make it clear. If something or some product is meant for swimwear, now what kind of water is there in the swimming pool? It's a chlorinated water. So there are chances that the color may change when it is being exposed or it is being dipped in the chlorinated water. Now to ensure the quality of the dyed fabrics or that is being used for making this swimwear, we have to go for color fastness to chlorinated water. That is the mandatory requirement. Okay, so I think now it's clear. I need your answers, yes or no. I need your answers, yes or no, in the chat box, whether it is clear to you now why we need to know the end use of the apparel, right? So let's move on to the next slide. Now coming on to the standard test methods. Now, as we all understood now that we have to go for the testing, and then we have to select the right kind of testing protocols in order to ascertain the quality of a product. Now, how do we perform the test methods, or how do we perform the test on any product? For example, in our lab, we have three chemists, chemist A, chemist B, and chemist C. Now to all of these three people, I give one fabric that you have to perform this color fastness to washing test. And all the three, there is no standard testing protocol. Then in that case, what will happen? Everybody will select its or apply their own brains to do the testing. A may do at the testing at 40 degrees, B may do at the testing at 60 degrees, C may do at 30 degrees. Also, the quantity of the detergent is also not specified. Then first person may use 5 grams, other person may use 2 grams, C use. So what I mean to say that standard test methods basically are the standard rules and guidelines in order to give us the description that how a test is required to be performed. So what will happen when I will give the fabric to 3 chemists and tell them to perform the color fastness to washing test, and also give them the standard test method, that this is how you have to perform the test at 40 degrees. This is the detergent you have to use. This is the cycle that you have to use. In that case, what will happen? The results which will be given by all the 3 chemists will be comparable. Is that agreed? You agree to me what I'm saying? Chat box, please, whether you agree what I'm saying? Yes, means standard test methods are the standard rules and guidelines basically to make a person understand that this is how the test is required to be performed. And on top of it, these standard test methods are generated by standard test bodies, and the methods are called standard test methods. These are again validated and published only after satisfactory reproducibility. And with respect to test methods, one important thing is, as I mentioned in the last slide also, the different continents in the world, for example, African continent, the American continent, Indian standards, then Japanese market, they all follow the different testing methods. So as per the continent, we have to select the right testing protocols in order to perform the test for the products which are meant to be exported or to be shipped to those countries. So here are some examples for you. For American market, there are two the standard bodies are there, ATCC and ASTM. For ISO, this is International Organization for Standardization. PS is the British standards. CAN is the Canadian standards. GI is the Japanese standards. GB for the Chinese market. IS for the Indian standards. AS is the Australian standards. And there are many more with respect to different countries. Now, American market, we have two bodies, ATCC and ASTM. The difference between these two bodies is ATCC basically releases the standard test methods for the performance related tests. However, ASTM releases the standard test methods for durability tests. The durability test basically covers up your strength parameters, and ATCC the performance related tests normally the color fastness test, pilling, shrinkage, abrasion. These are all performance related tests. And for Indian market, the standard test body is BIS, that is Bureau of Indian Standards. So Bureau of Indian Standards, they basically come up with the Indian standards for the Indian market. And these standard test methods for the Indian markets are called IS test methods. So with this, we wrap up the standard test methods also. To move on to the next topic of today's discussion will be the important atmospheric conditions. Now a question to the audience. Do you know what are the two important atmospheric conditions? Can anybody give me the two important the atmospheric conditions? What are the two important atmospheric conditions? Atmosphere mein, what are the two important things? Hot and cold. Humidity, yes, Imbavan is the first right person. Relative humidity or the humidity is the right one. Then what is second? Hot and cold. How do we define hot and cold? Which temperature? Yes. So there are two important atmospheric conditions, temperature and humidity. So these are the two important conditions which are required to be maintained before a testing is required or the testing is started. Right? Now, why these standard atmospheric conditions are required to be maintained? The reason is, as you know, being a textile student, I think everybody is aware that different fibers have different moisture regain. It means in the same atmospheric condition, the kind of moisture being absorbed by different fibers will be different. For example, cotton, it is 8%, viscose 12 to 13%, wool 18%, polyester only 0.4%, and nylon is approximately 4%. Means if all these fibers are kept in one atmospheric condition, the moisture which is being absorbed by these fibers will be different. So our results do not get affected by these atmospheric conditions. These standard bodies have defined standard atmospheric conditions, so that whenever we have to perform the testing, first we have to condition the fabric. Now, what do you understand by conditioning? Conditioning means before starting a test, we will take the fabric or the apparel or the product, we will kept it in the laying condition for some period, so that fiber, whatever moisture the fiber has to absorb, the moisture is being absorbed, and a stage is achieved which is called an equilibrium stage. That stage is achieved so that beyond that there is no further absorption of moisture. So for that reason, we have to maintain these atmospheric conditions. The reason to do the conditioning, first, that the moisture is completely being absorbed. Secondly, that, for example, the shipment is meant for US market and the products are being sourced from the Indian market. Means the manufacturer is available in India and he is making a product which are to be exported to US market. Now in this scenario, the testing is also going to be performed in India. Now what will happen if there are no standard conditions? In that case, what will happen? The results what we will achieve in the Indian conditions, and when the testing will be performed in the conditions which are available in the US market or the US countries, the results may not be reproducible or the results may not be comparable. So that to avoid this ambiguity, we have to condition the fabric in the same atmospheric conditions which are listed out by the standard test bodies like ATCC or ASTM or ISO or IS, so that there is no dispute with respect to the test results and the results are reproducible, or you can say within the acceptable limits. So the atmospheric conditions which are defined in the standard for different standards are AHCC and ASTM. This is 21 degrees plus minus 1, 65% plus minus 2 RH. ISO 20 degrees plus minus 2, 65% plus minus 4% here. IS Indian standards 27 degrees plus minus 2 and 65% plus minus 4 relative humidity. So these are the standard conditions that we have to maintain, and then after conditioning we will start the testing. So we move on to the next topic. Now, so till now we have discussed about the importance, then we also have discussed about the testing definition, then we discussed about the standard test methods and the standard atmospheric conditions. Now we all have agreed that the testing is required to be performed in order to produce the quality fabric or the quality product. Now in order to generate or in order to manufacture a standard quality product, the testing has to be performed at different stages, and it starts from the selection of the right raw material. Means the first stage of the testing will be for the selection of raw material. Second, to monitor the production. Third, the investigation of faulty material. In case we observe that the material which is being produced in the production line is not qualifying the testing criteria or the quality parameters, then we have to do the investigation. So to do the investigation also we have to go for testing. Then the fourth is the research and development. With respect to research and development, I'll come in the next slide. Then with respect to the final product evaluation. So final product evaluation, what we all were discussing with the color fastness test, the performance test, all these are the basically the final product evaluation. So the purpose of the testing is again to summarize: checking and the selection of raw material, monitoring production, investigation of faulty material, R&D purpose, and the final product evaluation. Now coming on to the R&D. As you all know, new researches and the new developments or new value additions are approximately coming up almost every month, every year in the market. Like very recently, the antiviral finishes are there, antimicrobial finishes are there, anti-static finishes are there, then UV protection finishes are there, stain release finishes are there. So all these functional properties are being imparted on the fabrics. And how do we ensure that whatever functional property that has been embedded or imparted on the fabric is basically resisting to or is being properly manufactured? For that reason, again, we have to do the testing. For example, antibacterial treatment is done, then the test is performed. For example, 10 washes, 20 washes, to see whether the finish is basically resisting to 10 washes, 25 washes, 20 washes, likewise. Then one more important definition or the word term I want to discuss with the team is the moisture management. This is basically related to the activewear and the sportswear items that is being manufactured nowadays. As you all know, most of these products are 100% polyester. And as a textile student, we also know that polyester has very less moisture regain, means it does not easily absorb the perspiration whatever the human body emits. Now in that case, even if the polyester is not absorbing the moisture, we are manufacturing the sport items and the active wears with the polyester fiber. The reason is the selection of this raw polyester for these kind of varieties is because of its good strength properties. Now in order to increase the absorbency of the fabrics or the products, we do some moisture management. Means we convert the hydrophobicity of the polyester fiber to the hydrophilic stage, and we impart some finishes which basically helps in increasing the moisture absorbency. So for that reason, the term is used, moisture management. So the testing is also done with respect to ensure that the proper moisture management has been done. So move on to the next. So now in order to summarize, that the testing confirms the product durability, product performance, safety requirements, and some government regulations. In tomorrow's discussion, we will take up with respect to the government regulations and some product performance tests that we will take it tomorrow. And then some benefits of the testing are good quality, higher consumer satisfaction, reduced customer returns, and obviously the increased revenue or the profit. So these are the benefits of doing the testing. Now the next point which I want to discuss with the team is with respect to the type of testings. Now the textile testing is basically classified in two categories. One, the destructive type, and second is the non-destructive type. Now this classification is done based on the basic technique used in order to perform the test, and also the kind of data that we observe from that we obtained from these instruments. And on the basis of the data obtained, we classify these as objective and the subjective tests. Now coming on to the first, the destructive type. Now the destructive type, these are easy to perform and also easy to understand the results. Secondly, the data which is obtained from the instruments is objective and it is a quantitative data. But in this case, the sample is destroyed. That is the reason these are called destructive type. For example, the tensile test and the bursting strength. If you have performed the tensile strength in your labs or the bursting strength in your labs, you will see that we cannot reuse that sample for further use, means the samples are destroyed. So the first type of classification for the textile testing is destructive type. However, the results are easy to understand and we get the objective data which is quantitative. So for that reason, these are called the destructive type. Then the second is non-destructive type. Many times, we get the data from the instruments which are difficult to understand, and also the data is not objective. This is a subjective data, and instead of quantitative, this is qualitative data. So this category is called non-destructive. The reason non-destructive is that we can reuse the garments or the products for further use. Means when we do the assessment means we have a standard shade and we have a production stage set. When we compare this or do the assessment or do the color matching and see what is the type of difference, it is a color assessment test. And in that case, the data is basically the qualitative one, and also the samples can be reused. Secondly, there is no damage is being done to the sample, but there is a chance that, for example, the chemist 1 who is doing the assessment and the chemist 2 who is doing the assessment, the results may vary. However, in case of destructive, since we were getting the results directly from the instruments, they were more clear, more understood, and also more reasonable. However, in the case of non-destructive, there is a chance that the results may differ from person to person. For that reason, they are basically, we call that there is a results may be influenced by the operator. So some examples are assessment test, as I mentioned, and the second is drape test. So these are some examples for the non-destructive type. So we move on to the next stages of testing. Now coming on to this slide, the stages of the testing. Now if you see the picture below this in this slide, the 4 pictures are depicted. First, the fiber stage, the cotton fiber is shown here. Second, some packages are there, the yarn packages are there, means the second stage is yarn testing stage. Then third is the fabric stage, and the fourth is the garment stage or the product stage. It means textile testing can be performed in 4 stages, and these 4 stages are fiber testing, yarn testing, fabric testing, and then finally the product or the garment testing. When we do the fiber testing, this is basically related to the raw material. Yarn testing is basically related to the yarn manufacturing stage. Fabric is when the fabric is manufactured, and then finally when the garment or the product is manufactured. So one by one we take the important and the critical tests to be performed at these stages. Now first is fiber testing. Now when we have to go for the fiber testing, and in order to assess the quality of the raw material, these are the 4 fundamental basic tests that is required to be done: fiber length, fiber maturity, fiber fineness, and fiber strength. Because the quality of the yarn, the quality of the fabric, and finally the quality of the product basically depend on the selection of raw material. And to assess the quality of the raw material, we have to perform these 4 basic tests: fiber length, fiber maturity, fiber fineness, and fiber strength. If you have bigger fiber length fibers, in that case, the yarn which is being manufactured, it will have less hairiness and means less pilling. Finally, your fabric will be better. Now, coming on to the next stage, that is yarn testing or the yarn manufacturing stage. At this stage, these are the 4 basic important tests: yarn count, yarn twist, strength or the elongation, and hairiness and evenness. Now the question to the audience, now what do you understand by yarn count? What is yarn count? Quickly answer, what is yarn count? What is yarn count? Being a textile student, I think you must be aware what is yarn count. Answers please in the chat box quickly. Or the thickness. Mathili, yes, very right. Very right. Thickness of the yarn. So yarn count, basically, in order to know the thickness of the yarn, we have to go for the yarn count testing. Then yarn twist. What are the different type of twists which can be given to a yarn? What are the two type of twists? Yarn twist, S and Z. Very right. So these are the two type of twists which are given. Then strength, definitely strength is one of the important parameter. And if your yarn is more uniform and it has less hairiness, in that case, which properties will be better? Which property will be better if the hairiness is less? Tell me. I took the name also. Pilling. Very right. Yes. Subramani is the right one to answer this. So, and yarn hairiness depends on fiber length. So ultimately, each factor is basically contributing into the different parameters and the different quality aspects. So yarn count, yarn twist, yarn strength or the elongation, hairiness and evenness. These are the four important parameters that are required to be performed at yarn manufacturing stage. Then the last stage is fabric or the garment or the product testing. Now see, I have combined the fabric stage and the garment testing into one. The reason is that, and instead of putting it into two slides, that has been combined into one. The reason is that between these two stages, these three product categories can be divided. First, the performance test, durability test, and the regulatory test. So these three category of the testing can be divided. Some may be done at fabric stage, some may be done at the product stage or the garment stage. So for that reason, I have combined these two stages into one: performance, durability, and regulatory test. Now, for example, if we take about an example of performance test, color fastness to washing. Color fastness to washing can be done at the fabric stage to ensure that the bleeding does not happen at the garment stage. Then color fastness to light can also be selected at the fabric stage. Then pilling can also be selected at the fabric stage. Then coming on to the durability test. Tensile and tear, these are two important tests that can be performed at the fabric stage. But the seam properties or the seam strength, that has to be performed at the garment or the product stage. So this is how basically some tests can be selected at the fabric stage and some at the garment stage. Now coming on to the regulatory test. So we will be discussing these regulatory tests tomorrow, but at this stage, to make you understand, fiber content can be done at the fabric stage to ensure that whatever product we want to manufacture or whatever product we want to manufacture, it has the right composition. For example, 100% cotton, 100% wool, or 100% silk, whatever it may be. So for that reason, fiber content may be performed at the fabric stage. So with this, I come to the end of today's presentation. However, before this, again, a small quiz for you people. So come on to the chat box very quickly. We will answer these questions. First, why standard test methods are important? Answer this. Why standard test methods are important? Why standard test methods are important? To have the reproducible results. In order to get the reproducible results or the reliability in the results, we should have the standard test methods. Very right. Then who releases the standard test methods? Basically, who are basically releasing these? Standard bodies or government bodies, or you can say, for example, for ATC, ASTM, yes. So these are standard test bodies who are basically authorized basically to releases the standard test methods. Now standard atmospheric conditions. What are the two important atmospheric conditions? What are the two important atmospheric conditions? Humidity and temperature. Deepika, absolutely right. First person to answer. Then why do we need to maintain these conditions? Why? I told you many reasons for this. Moisture again, that is the first one. Secondly, to have the comparable results or the reproducible results. So for these two reasons, we have to maintain the standard atmospheric conditions. And which are objective and subjective tests? Objective tests, which type of textile testing is classified as objective and the other one as subjective? Answer this. Destructive and non-destructive. Destructive is the objective type of test, and subjective are non-destructive. So destructive and non-destructive, these are two classification of the textiles testing. So with this, I wrap up. And any questions? If you have any questions, you can write in the question and answer so that I can reply that. If you have any question to ask me, any question, you can put your questions in the Q&A, question and answers box. If you have any question, please come forward. Any questions, please? Or everything is understood by the team? Shall I take this way? If you people have understood, then reply me in the chat box. Reply me in the chat box. Everything is clear? Yes or no? Okay, now there is one question in the chat box. Why we not follow the yarn fastness test? See, I told you at the time of when we were discussing about the yarn manufacturing stage, I told you that these are the 4 major basic tests. I'm not saying that you cannot perform the yarn fastness or the fastness test at the yarn stage. You can do it. You can do it. But these are the 4 basic important critical tests which are to be performed at that stage. So especially for the swing threads. So Gopal Krishnan, what is your query with respect to the swing threads? What you want to ask question? What is your question? Can you specify, elaborate more with respect to swing threads? Yarn fastness, that is what I'm saying, that you can do the testing at yarn stage also, color fastness state, if it is a swing thread or it is a embroidery thread. Yes, you can do it at the yarn stage. What I told you at that time, that these are the 4 important basic tests in order to understand the quality of the yarn. But yes, if it is a swing thread or if it is an embroidery thread, yes, you have to go for the fastness test also at that stage. So you got the answer, Gopal? Yeah. Any more questions? Deepika, how Indian standard testing different from other countries which are included in other countries? See, the basic major differences with respect to the conditioning temperature. In Indian standard, this is mentioned at 27 degrees plus minus 2, whereas for other countries, if you see ATCC and ISO, this is 20 degrees plus minus 1 and 2. So for that reason, this is the major difference. And India being a tropical country, the temperature is being capped as 27 degrees. This is the major difference. And as I told you, the Bureau of Indian Standards, they basically releases the Indian standards. So the conditions are different. And for example, if we take about the Indian conditions, as a consumers, we'd use the detergents are different, the machines are different, what machines and detergents are being used in other countries. So everything is mentioned in the IS standards with respect to all these kind of consumer behavior. On the basis of that only, the standard test methods are released. So any more questions? Deepika, I think you understood what is the major difference. Deepika, is that okay? Yeah. Any more questions? Or quickly from the team now, have you people understood? Almost 90 people are there, so I should have at least 50-60 answers quickly. Is that clear now, today's PPT? Is that clear? Okay, so thanks a lot to their audience for giving me such a patient listening. And also, I asked you certain questions just to keep you engaged with respect to the topics that I wanted to take it up today. Tomorrow, I will be first discussing about the 5 important regulations, international regulations, which are mandatory to be followed, in which we will be covering up the safety regulation, fiber identification, care labeling, flammability regulations, and eco testing. And apart from that, then we will slowly move on to some important color fastness tests. 5 color fastness tests we will take it up. With that time, I think we will, it is possible to cover in 1 hour. Beyond that, we have to engage more sessions, because in 1 hour, only regulations and 5 important color fastness tests can only be covered. So see you tomorrow, guys. So again, thank you so much again to give me such a patient listening. Thanks once again, sir. Over to Satya now.
Yes, sir, very much thanks for the today's session. Hope everybody have enjoyed and everybody have learned something. I hope that tomorrow's session will they will boost to the students, I hope. And I thank all the participants who came over here and who participated, who interacted, and who made this session a lively session. Okay, thank you all.
Sir,
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
sir, there are more questions in the question answer Q&A session.
Deepika, I would suggest, that maybe you can take it, see, for me, no problem. I can continue if it is okay to the team or to the audience, everybody. If it is okay, we can take it up more questions. Maybe in next 5 minutes, I think I will be able to finish it off.
Sir Kumar, sir, there is lot of questions in Q&A box.
Yeah. I just have seen in the chat box. Actually, I have taken it up. No problem. Let us continue with this also. Sir,
Okay, sir.
busting test for knitted will come under which category? Performance or durability? So busting test will come in the durability. Imbavan, is that answer clear? Busting test will cover up in the durability for the knitted items. Yes.
Gayatri?
Is that clear? Or I have to type here? Durability, right? Okay. Then what are the factors which affect the testing process? Factors, as I told you, the temperature and RH are 2 major factors affecting test results, right? Okay. From the day 1 fiber to the export date, how much time does a yarn takes to come out, completing or the 4 and other basic tests? Ramya Bharti, your question is something out of the today's context. But yes, if you say, if I have to give you the answer for this, the normal lead time, I think you understand. Lead time means, lead time is in order to ship your goods from the date of order, normally 90 days, 60 to 90 days. So by that time, your shipment should be ready with respect to everything. Is the normal lead time to be followed. Okay.